がここにいるうちの本物のスクールスポーツのために行こうぜベイビーバンこの国は気をつけて、現実になることがありますからね。
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and continue the long-standing tradition of covering Japanese boxing here on True School Sports. True School Sports, the #1 source for Japanese boxing in America from an American. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. And ayete okata. Nice to see everybody here once again, showing that love, that support, and that passion that I'm sure we all have for this glorious sport of boxing. Now, one of the passionate stances that I've taken when it comes to Japanese boxing has been the fact that I think that the now former WBO champion, I told you guys for a long time, Yoshiki Takei is overrated. I've been saying that for the longest time, and I don't have anything personal against him. It's just that when I was in Japan, I was staying in Yokohama for a long time, and I kept seeing this guy's picture everywhere, and it was pissing me off. And then I would go and I would read things that Japanese boxing fans were saying about the bantamweight division, and the perception of what Yoshiki Takei was in the bantamweight division pissed me off. People were saying that like he's like the second best bantamweight behind Junto, and I was disgusted. I was disgusted because he was the worst out of all the champions between Junto Nakatani, Seiya Tsutsumi, and Ryosuke Nishida when he had the belt. He was clearly the worst. My boxing eyes told me he was the worst and weakest champion, but he was getting all this hype because he trains with Ohashi. And he trains with Inoue, and he was a kickboxing star. But I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. He was not as good as other champions in the division, but he was getting this hype like he was. So I kept saying this for a while, and I still think if he ever fights Seiya Tsutsumi will knock his freaking lights out. All right. But anyway, I digress. This point was proven to the highest degree when he fought Christian Medina. Christian Medina from Mexico, Christian Chispa Medina. It didn't even take a while. He beat the brakes off this dude in 4 rounds. It was an easy fight for him. Cakewalk, exposed, exposed. That's what, like, Takei got exposed. He's a very good fighter in terms of like his natural punching power, athleticism for days, but his boxing, the defense and skills and the fundamentals are not up to par, and it showed in this fight because Christian Medina was able to pierce the guard, find holes in his defense continuously, and it all culminated in that 4th round where literally he ended the fight throwing 4 right uppercuts, just spamming uppercuts over and over again. So Yoshiki Takei gets packed up and tossed out the ring like it's the Royal Rumble and like a piece of trash. And, he's a good fighter, and I respect him as an athlete. Like, he did his thing in kickboxing, and to become champion is no small feat. And I do think that he can come back and become champion again with the right matchup and if he improves his skills. But what I've been saying about Yoshiki Takei has been proven true, that he is not as good as advertised, and that he is in fact overrated. So I'm glad that's been proven right. Let's talk positive now. Let's talk about Christian Medina because look, Mexico lost a big name and a champion in Canelo Alvarez, and like within a couple hours they gained a new one and an up and comer in Christian Medina. Now Christian Medina, this is a fighter, ladies and gentlemen. This is a fighter that when you look at his record, he has like 4 losses, but 3 of those losses you can't really put on him because he was like 19 years old or less in 3 of those losses. One of those losses he took was by split decision. The only person that really legitimately beat him when he became a world level fighter was Ryosuke Nishida, the former IBF champion, who, by the way, tip of the cap to him, is a good fighter. Better than Yoshiki Takei was, for sure, better than him. But no, people in the Japanese people in boxing trying to tell me that Yoshiki Takei is better than Seiya Tsutsumi and better than Nishida. Nah, man, you guys are out of your damn mind. He got sparked out in 4 rounds because he wasn't on that level. But Medina only lost to Nishida, right? And Nishida is a good fighter. You saw Nishida even in the Junto fight. He gave Junto some fits early on in their fight. So you can't hold that loss against him. But when he got his opportunity, again, he showed that he learned from his experience, and he beat the brakes off of Yoshiki Takei. And I like the fact that we got somebody in the division that's a world champion at bantamweight who's not Japanese, because let's be honest, guys. These Japanese guys was not unifying And then when they did unify, like in the case of Junto, they just moved straight up, right? So I'm glad that we're getting a Mexican here to come shake things up, because we know that the kryptonite to the Japanese style over the course of history is the Mexican volume punching style. That's been proven time and time and time again. The only way you can get around that is if you're a Japanese fighter who gets like top elite level American and or Mexican sparring. If you're in Japan and you most of the gyms fight similar, you're gonna see that regimented pendulum stepping, mid-range, explosive style in every gym you go to there, right? So you need to get out of Japan at some point to get different looks, or bring in different looks to Japan if your team can afford to pay for international sparring. That being said, yeah, man, we have a new champion from Mexico, Christian Chispa Medina. He was great, man. He for a lot of people out there, this was their first impression of Christian Medina, and he made a hell of an impression. And you know, when I think about the potential matchups out there for him in the division, I mean, Antonio Vargas and Sutsumi got a dispute. They have some things to settle in their own right. You know, Tenshin and Takuma are going to fight for a belt. So the division's going to be all over the place. You know, Junto got rid of the belts recently, so I know. Eventually, Bam Rodriguez will be coming up too. So I think bantamweight is going to heat up. You know, you got some good fighters, some good prospects too in the division. It's going to heat up, and I think this is only going to accelerate the division getting better and better and better. But Christian Medina, man, Mexico has a new world champion, and I think based on what I saw, if he comes with that same determination and continues to get better and add to his skills, and if he has to fight more Japanese fighters, I'm going to favor him in a lot of these fights against Japanese fighters, because he just has the style to beat a lot of these Japanese guys. A lot of these Japanese guys, they're not used to that Mexican volume style, and they don't like it because it's not something they're accustomed to. They like to sit there mid-range and bounce and do all that. And you know, when they got 4 or 5 punches coming at them, and they're hard punches, they're punches with the pain and the trauma of living in the tough parts of Mexico behind them, they don't know how to deal with that. You know, so he's done that. He's done a great job, and he's champion. And I'm glad that we got some shake up in the bantamweight division, because, like I said, man, too much control from the Japanese. I love Japanese boxing, but I don't think it's good for there to be too many Japanese champions, because Mr. Honda won't have these guys fighting each other. They'll have them defending against cans and overmatched opposition, and we don't want that. We want the best fights, and I think what's best for the bantamweight division is to have maybe 1 or 2 Japanese champions, but have some foreigners too, some gaijin champions, some international champions. So yeah, great performance from him. Yoshiki Takei, still a fantastic fighter, just not what people thought he was. And it's not surprising me, but it was surprising to a lot of people that he got that breaks beaten off of him. So, you know, happy days. But leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe. You won't be disappointed.